recently just watched a new Netflix documentary, Bad Influence. It's involving child influencers and everything. And I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm not gonna lie, this documentary made me very upset. And we're gonna share why it made me upset. The main excuse me. The main focus of this documentary was about child influencers and children on the internet, especially, more specifically, Piper Raquel and her squad. I think that's what they're called. Guys, I'm 27 years old. Piper Raquel is definitely not in my analytics. It's not in my age range. This is more so about how these kids were basically exploited for views, money, and fame. Talking about Piper's mother, Tiffany, which episodes, I actually binge watched it. Each episode's about 45 minutes apiece, so I was able to get through it fairly quick. By the end of it, I was so mad. Hearing what happened to these kids is absolutely disgusting. All these kids have been exploited for money, fame, and views. It's honestly one of those things like, these kids cannot live normal lives now. And all their personal business is out on the internet. I said it before and I'm gonna say it again. When you make it big in the entertainment industry, and it doesn't matter if it's Hollywood, music, content creating, sports, whatever the case may be, you're basically putting yourself out there and you're literally under a microscope. There were a lot of things that made me very upset. First of all, these kids were overworked, immensely overworked. Hearing that they sometimes will have to film 10 to 15 videos a day, not even just for Piper's channel, but for all of their channels, is absolutely insane. Hearing that Piper Raquel never had a chance to go to school, like an actual school, is absolutely insane. Hearing how Tiffany made sexual comments and inappropriate comments toward minors, toward children. You got Hunter, he portrays her older brother, even though he's a full-grown man, and he's in a relationship with her mother. Do you have any idea how bizarre that sounds, first of all? Having a grown-ass adult portray your older brother and he's dating your mother? First of all, that's just mind-boggling in itself. I couldn't believe that. I'm thinking like, huh? Hey, a lot of these kids were between the ages of 11 and 13. Maybe a couple that were even younger. Why on earth are you making inappropriate jokes and sexual comments towards a child? Literal children. What kind of grown adult does that? This part got me really mad. And that was Piper's mom, Tiffany, full on giving some kid a kiss on the lips on their live stream. This kid was 17. Yup, you heard that right. 17 years old. So they were still a minor. And I'm surprised Tiffany is not in jail for this. I give props to the fan base calling her out immediately, going, that kid's 17. There was a name revealed in the documentary by the name Megan. Megan is not a young girl or a young teenager that's a fan of Piper and her squad. Nope. It is literally a full-ass grown man messaging these kids, making inappropriate comments. Like, why wouldn't you want to protect your kids from that? Can you explain that? What the fuck is wrong with you to not protect your kids from a man like this? My heart goes out to these kids because they didn't have a proper childhood. Not even close. Kids should not be worrying about falling in love, finding a boyfriend, finding a girlfriend. No, you have your whole life ahead of you for that. And this part got me upset. When they were told to wear certain types of clothing, keep in mind, 11 to 13-year-olds, especially the girls, one being told, dress sluttier. Who the hell says that to a kid? Especially a child. What is wrong with you? My heart broke for these kids. And I'm glad they're speaking up about their experiences, because I found this documentary informative and it gave me a good insight on everything. It made me sick. And honestly, I was not happy after watching it, because why would you put these young kids through that? One thing I will mention, when you delete something from the internet, you may think it's gone forever. Honey, it is not gone forever. Someone will have a way of finding that up. This was just a brief summary in regards of what my thoughts were in this documentary and some of the things that happened. I highly recommend you guys go watch it. More so to get a better insight aside from what I told you. The documentary is very informative, and they definitely did a better job of explaining everything than I did. And two, if I keep talking about this, I'm going to get more fired up. There are so many things that crossed my mind through this. Why would you put your kids in this uncomfortable situation? Why didn't you get them out of there sooner? Why would you make your child your source of income? You're the parent. Parents should be supporting their kids. The kids should not be supporting the parent. That's not how that works. Why would you want to have your child in a toxic environment like this for fame and money?